Madonna, the reason I asked about that, I told Margaret Warnitz to call Dorothea.
Yeah, she was one.
Because she's been trying for years to, get some help, but she's never been in the zone.
Oh, gotcha.
So I just sent her a text that
No, as soon as,
said, you might wanna.
I'm sure it's the same paperwork, but as soon as the email gets it done. She wasn't the one who called, it was
Okay.
actually, she must have called after, it was on email, which means it goes to voicemail when nobody's
Right.
on, so possibly it was not.
Okay,
I
well,
don't know,
anyway,
but she
that-
is the one that called.
She just said, I'm the one that told her to give you a call, so.
Hey, we got our answer. Your name came up today in the meeting about a property on Holland.
307 Hollitt, yeah, I just,
Oh, okay.
yep.
So did we?
What about
I
it?
think you got who the actual owner is.
I am,
Oh, you are.
yeah.
Okay. That easement should be a walk in the park then.
Yeah, should be.
Which easement's that?
The one for the store.
307,
Is that 307? Or are we talking
No,
about something else?
that's 150.
Oh. Okay.
yeah, Becky Avrill's house, Shane, I don't know if you know.
Yeah, that's on the north side,
Oh, we're talking about a different
or
one.
next to Shars.
I thought someone said they saw Bill coming out of that house, so he might know. The one-
They would've saw me coming out of 307.
Out of
No, the
150.
one that Alan Wilhite owned.
Oh, I went in and looked at it. The little one there with the chain link fence around it, that's,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that was that's, the VA owns that now.
The VA, okay.
VA, yeah, he had a
That's what we need
VA
to
loan on
find.
that, so the VA owns that. But I actually was in there with the realtor looking at it.
Okay,
Yeah, but I don't know, I don't have anything to do with that.
yeah. We're in the process of getting an easement from them, and then when he passed away,
Where's the easement at?
it'd be in their backyard.
Yard,
We're gonna
yeah.
punch a storm sewer from First Street East to help drain the
Oh,
valley.
okay. Because there's, yeah.
At the time, we didn't have
Yeah,
anybody to contact.
you'd have to
it
go,
now.
the VA is who has
Okay,
that.
well, we were gonna check, we
And
just
the
talked
realtor
about it
would,
today, so-
Cynthia would know that.
I have their name, the VA.
Say it again?
I did find the VA's listed on the county now.
Oh, you
so-
did, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Did you tell him to put a paper out?
No,
Did you tell him we put a paper out, a picture of the paper? Jeff?
no, I didn't.
Well, where you were going, we had water blowing through the manhole covers over here again the other day.
I believe
We
that.
had 2.5 inches of rain, it just was like,
It was 30 days.
We gotta wait for,
yeah, God. It was,
So
it just came down in truckloads, I mean, it was crazy.
That's when we advertise.
Yeah.
yeah.
Plan to put a little 6-inch panel, or actually 4-inch PVC tile.
It's one thing.
On the low side. And it runs over to that little catch basin.
Yeah.
Yep. We ended up jetting it.
Dave wasn't coming?
Yeah.
Tony said he
He
was.
said last meeting he had to go up to school. That's why I'm here, because I told him a month before I wasn't gonna be.
That's correct.
I didn't recall him saying that, but I must, could have.
Shane, I don't know how big of a deal this is, but sometimes we don't have anything to do, which I know that's never, but right in front of my office, at the, by the Headlight Herald there, where my office is, where they poured the sidewalk,
They might do some.
the curb stop is there.
To work.
Maybe it's just me, but it seems to me that either that curb stop is coming up out of the ground or that concrete is sinking because it's above the, yeah. Can you, okay. The only thing I can think of is when doing snow or somebody walking and catching it or something, but.
All right, we'll call to order the regular meeting of the Tracy City Council for Monday, July 24, 2016. Please stand for the, 2017. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor, deliver the invocation, please. Remain standing.
Dearest Heavenly Father, we come before you with great thanksgiving for all the blessings you have showered down upon all of us, and especially this great nation of ours. First and foremost, we thank you for sending your Son for our salvation, who lived, died, and rose again, so that we too, when we fall away from this life, will live forever with you. That you chose us as your very own in the waters of baptism, so that no matter what comes against us, we can withstand it with you by our side. Come what will, come what may, the gates of hell shall never prevail against us. We ask you then to guide and direct us by your Holy Spirit in this meeting, so that everything we say and do may reflect your will and receive your blessing. You who are always with us, who goes before us to show us the way, behind us to encourage us, beside us to befriend us, above us to watch over us, and within us to give us your peace. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Okay, we got the minutes from our meeting on July 10th. Anybody have any questions or comments about those?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. 5, approval of the agenda. We got some additions here.
I do, Mr. Mayor and Council. Under 9, petitions, requests, and communications, F, I would like to put Fire Department, it's actually Fire Department Relief Association application for an exempt permit for them to be able to do a raffle. And then 9G, National Night Out, closure of Roland Street from Park Street to 2nd Street. And then the other changes under 11C, actually, all we did is we changed the wordage at the very end. It's actually the Hospice House 2017, not the 2000s.
I should also, the title of that, it doesn't need to include a public hearing. I checked the resolution, it's correct, but there's no public hearing required.
Okay,
So it would just be receiving.
okay, all right.
Sorry, I meant to mention.
That's all right, we got that one a
And
little
I
bit
think
messed
it
up.
is off the resolution itself,
Yep.
but it's just, yeah.
So we have receiving feasibility study, Hospice House 2017, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Move approval is amended.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Public comment, anybody here from the public who want to comment on something that's not on the agenda? Nope. Public hearings, reports, petitions, requests, and communications. You got Jeff here about the hanging plants. Jeff, how you doing?
Good, about yourself?
Not bad. Were we just going to discuss,
Yeah, there were some questions, last one about the expenditure, and I invited Jeff to come and kind of give us the history, behind, the hanging plants, what he does, what he doesn't do, what he does for the amount that he charges us, and et cetera. So, Jeff, do you want to come up to the, podium, if you will? We have handed out to you a city planter info sheet, and it kind of tells you by year what kind of has happened down the line over the past several years with what Jeff has and his company have been doing for the city. And then I had Diane go take a picture today of planters that he has put out on the poles that are near him, because you had talked about if we're going to do the planters in town, why we aren't doing the highway as well.
okay.
Diane and I did go down the highway, and I did have a memo in your council packets about this too, that, let's see here, there's 24 poles on the highway on the south side. So with that, Jeff, I'm going to let you take over and talk about what you can offer to put on the highway, what the cost of it will be, and then for the rest of you, the breakdown of the nursery bills. I broke that down for you so you can see what it's for,
Okay,
as I think those were the questions.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Madonna asked me what, the baskets that we've got in front of our store out there, there's 6 poles that we've got them on, and that's a 24-inch basket. The baskets that are hanging out here are 16 inches, and from a distance, they'd get lost. So if they're considering doing something on 14, I'd recommend that basket that I've got pictured, that she took a picture of. And you only need it on one side if you're gonna do it on the poles there. I did it on both sides so that our customers can see from one side, and just added a little bit more to the look of the pole. The basket and bracket are approximately $100. I haven't gotten an exact quote. You know, I wasn't gonna have the company go through that unless it was something we were actually gonna do. And I didn't know how many at the point, you know, when Madonna asked me to get a price either. So sometimes that plays into it on quantity. But you're looking at a expenditure, or actually not an expenditure, the rest of the pots that we've got around town, the bigger containers that some people use, the hanging baskets, were all paid for by Greenwood Nursery back when we started that. We own those. So if they decided they wanted to do something on 14, we would purchase the baskets if I had a commitment that we would continue to be doing this for, you know, 5 to 10 years more, just to help recoup some of that expense. The cost of the city is the watering, basically. And I've put down the history on this. It's called a city planner info sheet. That's the history from when it started. I don't know how much detail you want to go into, or how many. If you got questions on that, I'd be glad to answer them. But last 3 years, we've been constant at $85 for the fee to the city to water these and fertilize them and pit them up, take them down. So it figures out to be about $6 a week per planter. You know, during the course of the summer, we take care of them for approximately 13, 14 weeks till after Labor Day. We put them up around Memorial Day or just after Memorial Day and take them down after Labor Day. So,
Okay.
so if you got any questions, that's what I'm here for.
So I think you said if we had it on 14, we wouldn't, you said we don't need them on.
You just
both
have
sides?
one, it'd be one basket on one side, correct? Just the bracket would be on the back side of it. For your information, there's 14 poles on South 4th Street also, from the little park going out to Pine Street too. I counted those today. Just, that's another one of the busier streets in town, so if they wanted to do poles. So, but that's why I'm here.
No, I appreciate that. Anybody have any questions?
Well, one of the questions I had was, and maybe I'm wrong, but I was thinking at one time that we solicited business owners to pay for that,
And they are.
and is that still happening?
Yep.
Okay.
And one of the comments Madonna brought it to my attention that you hadn't been contacted. I believe 3 years ago was the last year that you were contacted. You had indicated at that time you didn't want to do it, so then some of the ones that don't do it on a year-to-year basis, we just take off the list and don't call.
I was
So
just curious, because I'd never got
Yeah.
it. But you are still.
you were, I mean, you had done it, you know,
Put me-
prior.
Put me on, back on the list, because I don't.
We can hang one for you.
I don't know, well, there's one over there.
Yeah,
There's
no,
one
we can
there.
still put one up for you.
Yeah.
There's room. We got extra baskets. We always grow about 10 to 15 extra baskets every summer just to replace some that might get damaged by wind or poor watering or whatever it happens. We can even screw up on that, so. But the bigger containers that are on the ground, most of the businesses that you see, like there's two out in front of the municipal center here, or Veterans Memorial Center. Those are a 24-inch pot, and there's quite a few that want those. They don't have a place to hang one in front of their store. You know, Midwest is a perfect example. Tom's Service is another one that does it, and there's a few others around town that do that instead of a basket. So, and then we've got individuals in town that sponsor a basket. You know, during the course of the spring, we call them back and they want to sign up again, so.
Because you can solicit that for us, but we can't solicit it, correct? Is that what?
Yeah, well, originally, in 2010, Seth was kind of a driver behind that. He got the chamber to do it. And so the city purchased and took care of, or tried to take care of them. They got 41 baskets that year. And most of them were dead by middle to end of July because, you know, the city didn't want to pay for watering on weekends because it's overtime. And so then the next year, the chamber took care of it again, but then they contracted us to water. And then I think 2012, I'm not sure the details, but we had to go and make all the businesses pay the full amount, watering and that the numbers dropped way off that year because they didn't feel they should have to pay because it was for city beautification, and they were hoping that somebody else, especially when the city offered to water it the previous year, and then they took that back. So since then, the numbers have been growing again, or staying stable anyway, and the city's been paying the watering costs, and then we've been, you know, providing the flowers, and then the bill gets sent to the business owners or the individuals, and then we collect that individually, so.
Well, there's no question on your services as far as I'm concerned. I think they look great. You guys do a great job. I've even
Thanks.
seen you have to replace a few of them. So, I mean, that's
Yeah,
not an issue. I think the issue is if we want to expand it,
Right.
do we do that, and where do we get the money to
Yeah.
do it from, I think is where we're.
and your cost, if you decide to do it and we can continue to do it, you don't have the upfront cost, you got the watering cost and whatever additional baskets you do. So, I mean, we've never charged you guys for the baskets or the pots. We just own them, and it's just a lot easier that way. If you cease to do business with us, we just have the pots and then we can use them for something else. But if we go to this expenditure, if you're gonna do the baskets on 14, that's like I said, $100 a piece. I don't wanna go into this and say, okay, we'll buy them, and then you guys don't do it the next year.
Right.
So I'd want some kind of commitment, on that, so, but,
Well, I think we need it, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I mean,
I-
it's not, it's an expense, but it's not that bad. I do too.
Some of the comments that Jeff made to me was comments that he's had from multiple people, and I apologize if he already said this, but, just people coming into town, how they say that it makes it look like we're trying to take care of our town by
No.
seeing that and stuff like that.
No, I agree.
we hear a lot of good comments from it, and maybe you guys don't, because they don't, you're kind of autonomous that way, but,
No, we hear comments.
well, I mean, but not about the baskets. You hear plenty of comments on other things, but,
Don't worry about that.
yeah,
Chief.
no. But I mean, on the baskets, they don't always, but when they're in the store, they comment on them. They comment on them when they're not doing so good either, believe me.
No, I think that we should fix that into the budget then.
Figure out how to do it, but that was what prompted the question, because it was a lot higher than the last time I looked at it, and I wasn't involved in the budget. I wasn't even aware that you started taking care of them when you did. It was never brought up again to the council.
Yeah, no, it started with Audrey, and in Roger Gorius, the year, I think it was 13 was his first year. I'm not positive about that when he
Well,
started, but
yeah.
Roger Gorius was the one that really pushed the fact that, the city should be paying for the watering, because the numbers had dropped off immensely from that one year when the business owners had to pay for the whole thing. It was a little steep for some of them, they thought, so they don't mind paying for the baskets, but they, and if somebody doesn't water them, they're not gonna last, so. And you can't have city crew that doesn't, you just don't wanna pay overtime, so.
Unless you want cactus in a hanging basket, you need to be watered.
Well, that's possible. It's not gonna look as good, but it's possible, so.
What? No, I appreciate you coming in, Jeff.
If you got any other questions, that's what I'm here for, so. But we do get there's a lot of positive feedback. We had a lady that was here for that garden tour here a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And it was Joanne Johns' cousin, I believe. She's the editor for the Minnesota Horticultural Magazine out of the Twin City area. And she made a comment. She stopped at the store and she said the baskets really look great
That's terrific.
downtown. So what you're doing is very positive for the town, whether the money you think is worth it or not. I think you're showing a positive image that isn't always seen by a lot of people, so.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you being here, Jeff.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for coming in,
If you
Jeff.
got questions, give me a holler.
Yes, sir.
Will do.
Thanks.
Apparently, we have no sound on Vast.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is there any way you can hold this up to a camera and just say, would that be possible? Do you wanna do that?
Yeah, where is it?
It's behind you.
Oh, right here, she's got a.
I don't know, she looked at it, if you don't know what it is, I have had Charter in.
We won't zoom in on that.
Is it not working? How do we do it?
Stand up.
the one over there.
Where am I?
Okay, Diane can change it to this one though.
There's Zoom on it.
I still don't think
You
that.
guys gotta get on the same sheet of music here.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll stand still.
Can we zoom on him?
That's
Oh, you
All right.
can, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry about that. We did have Charter here, So I'll give the update if this has anything to do with it. I don't know if it does, but as you can see that we cannot see the Charter channel, that doesn't mean that the subscribers in town can't see the Charter channel. It has something to do, they believe, with the Charter box that's down there is not an HD box. It is an SD box, and I have contacted Adam Hansen, who has contacted Steve from ABI, who installed the system, to see if we can switch it over to see if it would work. They've been out here, been spending time on it, and it always seems like when one person touches it, something happens to something else. So I'll call him tomorrow.
No, that's all right. Okay. Do I got to hold up any more signs?
I thought it might help.
Okay. No, I'm just asking in case it, sign time.
Anybody know sign?
I don't know sign.
But no, well, getting back to having it on 14, I do think it'd be a good expenditure to have that, and if we can figure that into the budget, I think that'd be a good deal. Speaking of the IT person.
Yeah, he's to be here.
All right, 9B, Airport Commission appointment of city council member as an advisory member. When we had the Airport Commission meeting when we were here, was suggested that we might have a council member on there. It's the only committee that doesn't have a council representative on there, so I think it'd be a good idea if we had one on there. And somebody with airplane experience might help, because I would have no idea what they're talking about. So, Tony, if you...
I'll do that.
All right, we'll appoint Tony then to the Airport Commission.
I wonder if that shouldn't affect the other,
22 committees you're on?
no. The other one from the airport, from the Bowling was gonna set up the public. I don't know if it'll affect it or not.
I don't think it'll affect
Yeah,
it.
we'll just-
It won't. Next.
As I say, just keep in mind, we might have to find somebody from the public to replace me on that if we need to.
Okay. So I appreciate that, Tony, being on there. Chris, the feasibility study.
Yeah, so there's a feasibility study submitted for the 5th Street East extension. Just a 50-foot street extension to facilitate the development of the proposed hospice house. Really wasn't any new information, it's just since they're assessing for it, it's kind of a box you have to check, the feasibility study. And then there's a resolution under 11C, just saying that you've received it. And then if you do want to move forward and order plans and specs, there's a resolution ordering the improvements and preparation of plans and specs. I had inquired with Nate from Hospice a month or so ago, and Tara followed up and got a response about their timeline. It doesn't sound like they're in a rush to get this done this fall. I'll confirm
Okay.
if they want to try to squeeze it in this fall. I mean, they're paying for it, so it might be in their best interest to do it next year and get some more favorable pricing, but I'll confirm with that.
Okay.
So that is that
All right.
for that item.
Thank you, Chris. 9D, Rural Service District Benefit Ratio.
Okay, so I put a memo in your packets. The city is required to certify to the county the rural service district benefit ratio yearly by August 1st. I received a reminder from EJ at the county last week. Previously, the rate has been fixed at 30%. I had Diane call up there and talk to him about it, and after discussion with them, they said 30% is the standard rate for Lyon County, and it is consistent with the other cities in the county that are similar in size, and they advised that we leave it as is, not to increase the rate, because it could open us up for potential appeals if we do. So my recommendation is to leave the rural service district benefit ratio at 30%.
Okay. We have a motion to keep it at 30%.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Department head budget request. We went through that at the working session. 9F, Fire Department Relief Association application for exempt permit.
Oh, Adam just left.
He's here.
Still there.
Oh, is he still here?
Yeah, he's
Okay,
working
so
on the
basically,
volume.
the Fire Relief Association is doing a raffle, and they need the city's approval to do it.
We have a motion to approve the raffle.
I'd make it. Second it.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have 9G, National Night Out, which is going to be on August 1st, closure of Roland Street from Park Street to 2nd Street. Do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion made and second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 11A, resolutions. Resolution 2017-50, declaring the disposal of lights no longer need for public purpose at the library.
I would make a motion to approve resolution 2017-50.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have 11B, Resolution 2017-51, accepting monetary donation to fire department. We don't have that in our packet. We have a motion to adopt this.
Motion to adopt that.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 11C, 2017-52, receiving feasibility study, Hospice House 2017. Any questions or comments about that? It's in our packet.
Do you want us to act on that tonight, or you want to wait until for next year? Or if we act on it tonight, do we have to do it again next year? Or?
No, feasibility study, you can act on that, we shouldn't have to redo anything. So, just saying you received it.
Okay, I'd make the motion for resolution 2017-52, receiving a feasibility study.
Motion made and second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2017-53, ordering the infrastructure improvements and prep of plans and specs. That is also in our packet.
That one you could, I still think you could approve that, and then we'll bring them to you for consideration, and then you would approve them and authorize them to go to bid. So at that time, hopefully I will have heard back from Nate, and it's just, there's one part in the specs, you just put the dates of construction, and that'll be kind of up to them. So otherwise, the design and everything isn't gonna change based on time.
Well, let me ask it this way then. If for some reason that they don't get their fundraising completed and they decide not to do the project, who's going to pay the bill?
They are. They have petitioned
Right.
for it and waived their right to an assessment appeal. So,
That's the answer I wanted to hear. That's
Yeah.
all.
yeah,
I just wanted that clear before we go any further with this.
Yep. And we still could, if they do come back, just, they say we don't want to do it. I mean, I don't know there is sense in doing it just because you have their waiver of assessment, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You could still stop it and you wouldn't be out. They'd still have to pay for whatever cost it was to design and so forth, but at least it'd be less that they'd maybe be trying to argue about.
Okay.
All right.
Well, then I'd make a motion to approve resolution 2017-53.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 11E, Resolution 2017-54, approving change order for Masonic building demolition.
I would make the motion for 2017-54.
Motion made and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, 11F, Resolution 2017-55, approving payment to Newman Excavating for demolition of Masonic building.
Make that resolution.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Resolution 2017-56, approving payment to Dunick for work completed on Phase 1 2017 infrastructure project.
Application for payment number 3 for work completed through July 15th. This would be for $216,410.87. They've completed approximately $890,000 worth of work, and after this, we'd still be withholding approximately $44,000 at 5% retainage. And I don't know, I guess the sound's not working still, but I've been trying to remind myself every meeting to encourage people to sign up for the newsletter if they're listening at home, so.
It's helpful to get that. Okay, so we have a motion to adopt the resolution to pay Dunick.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chris. We got the consent calendar, we got the municipal accounts payable, municipal accounts receivable, department head reports, and the Relief Association minutes for June 5th, 2017. Any questions or comments about the consent calendar?
Just one question, and that's, we actually got the county attorney to do some prosecuting for us, if I read that right. Okay. I'd make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
That's the first time I'd seen the bill, Tony.
Yeah.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, unfinished business, we got 13A, we got 4th Street traffic. Madonna, you had that in your
Yep.
update?
I pretty much gave you a separate memo that I received the response, the email response from Aaron
Yeah.
Venmore, which was the Lyon County engineer. He was also over here with us when we met on the Center Street, and they said that they had did a couple checkings, and they sat there for a little bit, and they didn't think that it was anything to go after, but it's totally up to you guys, so.
You sit on my porch if they want. No, that's fine. And then they looked in about getting that portable radar thing, and
Yep.
we don't
And
have,
the cost for us for that portable radar, would be anywhere from $2,700 to $8,500. $8,500 where it sits like on a trailer, and the portable 2,700 one sounds like it's like a street light, or excuse me, a pole, like a street sign, and then it has a reflective, thing that has electricity that goes to it for the 2,700 to get that. So the county did not have any for rent. They said that they rent theirs from the state. Depends on where you want to go with
and they
it.
answered the question. And I
Okay.
read in there that if you do put stop signs in, and then before people get used to it, you got more accidents and
Yeah.
everything else.
It's a county road is
Yep.
what confuses it, so.
All right, well, thanks for checking that
You're
out.
welcome.
Next, we got sanitary collection system permit.
Okay, this, I think Chris already answered, didn't you?
Yeah, this, I think, was in reference to the 5th Street East. that
As
we
long as we're
discussed.
talking permits, so we have got one for our pond yet?
We have the discharge permit, so now, yep.
Good.
So it's the final approval of the plan, so
Yeah, we're waiting,
the
alright.
latest hiccup, and I'm pretty sure we have it ironed out now, is the MPCA raised more concern about groundwater than, they really weren't saying anything at all, so AET basically had to do some more extensive modeling and calculations to show that the perimeter tile system that's being proposed will lower things adequately, so, yep.
All right. Okay, next we got 13C, the performance evaluation worksheet, and we had that in our packet, and we've used that previously to evaluate the city administrator, and I suppose what we do is use that sheet for the next time we do is like in September, isn't it? Once every 3 months, and we say that quarterly? So, is everybody fine with that sheet that we already have? Sounds good. Thank you. Okay, utility rates study.
Okay, so Shane and I met this afternoon with Jeff Van Buren from USDA Rural Development to review the different pieces to be able to conduct the water rate study. Jeff says based on our underwriting and the letter of credit conditions that the city of Tracy agreed upon when we applied for the funding with USDA, we're not generating the revenue that we agreed upon for sewer, water, or storm sewer. And according to our 2016 audit, we're approximately $30,000 short in water revenues, $362,000 short in sewer revenues, and $400,000 short in storm sewer revenues. The dollar figures are based solely on estimates that were received from the engineers to do the project. And all these estimates that were given to us, that only allows us to break even on phases 1 and 2. Okay? To be able to be self-sustainable and to break even, we need to generate the revenues to cover not only our existing debt, our operating and maintenance costs, our short-lived assets, and to be able to repay rural development out of these revenues. If we do not generate enough revenues to do this, our general fund would have to cover the difference, which would increase the levy, and likely it would generate a visit from the Minnesota State Auditor, because that's why you have an enterprise fund, so that it pays for itself. That's the purpose of an enterprise fund. After a quick review to get us started in the correct direction, Shane and I will continue to generate a feasibility study based on the recent information we have to date. This will be based on a break-even point, so you can decide what or if you want to have a cushion from that point. I feel that the surcharge amounts should also be revisited and potentially lowered, as the fund hasn't been abused as it has been in the past. Now, all of our water and sewer breaks and emergency repairs are allocated to their respective funds or respective departments. So a reduction would help offset the increased rates to the consumers, so they won't see such a large increase if we're able to reduce the amount of the surcharge. And I think I brought that up last fall when we did the final balance of the budget, that was one of the things that I felt that we could reduce, because we're not seeing as much expenditures in there, and the auditors also reallocated where we were actually paying for our bonded debt. We're no longer paying for it out of that surcharge fund, and there was something that was being paid out of it at one time, that it was like at zero, and that's no longer the case. It's coming out of the respective funds like it's supposed to. Let's see, where was I at here? So I think having a storm sewer fund would also could be implemented in lieu of special assessments, to have an account to pay for the debt service from the projects and storm sewer operating and maintenance costs, instead of having this paid through the general fund as well. I know I have not gotten anywhere on the special assessment hookup fees. It's not that I haven't been working, I've been really busy, but I just haven't had a chance to get to it. But I think that back, in 2012, 12 or maybe even 11, Tony, perhaps you would recall more than me, when Megan Gurnetz was the USDA person, rural development, she came out and she told us then that she felt that we should start charging for a storm sewer fee. That has never been done, no. So my next thing I guess that I'm telling you is then perhaps you could call for a public hearing, the next council meeting, if that's what you want. Shane and I both said that we would sit down and put our heads together and put these numbers together. If you would call the public hearing at the next council meeting to have a change to that 2017 fee schedule, because these rates are in that fee schedule. I would appreciate any input at this point, and for you to provide direction on what type of scenarios you'd like us to prepare, so that we can be ready for the rates in the public hearing. In other words, I know that in 2012 there was a like a potential rate study that was given to you showing like a 25% increase in the first year. Well, say let me just use this case scenario of a 25% increase to a base water rate bill. $20 is that base water rate bill on residential. A 25% increase to that would be like $5. So upon speaking to Jeff, he spent most of the afternoon with me trying to go through and pick out the pieces of the necessary information that we needed to get to this point, which all has to do with what, I mean, it goes way above a lot of things. A lot of it's based on what the medium household income is, how many users we have, what they say you have to allocate above and beyond, and how you get EDUs, and I mean, it was a lot of different things, and everything that he has given us now, keep in mind, is only been on phases 1 and 2. This does not, it doesn't give us any cushion. It gives us a break even, and it allows us to pay back the phase 1 and 2, plus have our operating and expenditure costs covered, our existing debt covered, the rural debt payment that we'll have to, the rural development debt payment that we'll have to make, and any short-lived assets that we have. So Shane and I are thinking that we start there. We put I would like, myself, is I think that we should put that 25% on the base rates for the first year, and then every year after that only go like 2% or 1%. But being we haven't had this increase since 2011 was the last year that we had this increase, we have to start somewhere. So that what else we were thinking is then also, we're going to have to change our water rates per gallon, and stuff, which Shane has a tiered example from back in 2012 that he can use where we have to tier it. So Shane, do you remember, was it like most, on average, an average household uses 3,777 gallons of water. And I think he has the tiered system going from 0 units to 8,000 or 0 gallons to 8,000 gallons, and then 8,000 to like 19,000 or something. So for most people, they're gonna be under that 8,000 gallons, that it's not going to be such a large increase. But
More so the people that.
use a lot of
Use a
water.
lot of water, water their whole yard every other day. I don't know.
So, as a question, there's no way you could tier it based on the service
use it.
size to the house and be accurate.
It'd be hard because a lot of houses have from, I've seen ½ inch all the way up to an inch.
Yep, okay.
Even 1.25 inches, so to know that when we sign them up
Right.
is difficult, so
So it'd be better to tier it based off the usage.
usage or meter size.
Well, it's probably usage, I mean, because if you use more, pay more.
So now, these are just a calculation number, this is not a guaranteed number or anything, but for the $30,000 that we're short in water revenue, that only, by the number of connections we have, that only equals about a $3 increase per bill, okay? For that $30,000. That's not the, if we do the 25%, but that's about what it is. The $362,000 that we're short in sewer, that calculates out to be about $31 a bill. Not saying that that's what we're gonna do, but that's what it would be if you calculated it out to that. And then Megan Gurnetz from Rural Development had suggested a $2.93 fee called a storm fee on the water bills. So $2.93 on each bill. That would be a storm sewer charge. Back in 2012 that we didn't do anything with. Jeff does have it on his calendar to come to the next meeting if you want to talk to him about anything. Shane and I do not have a dollar figure for you, a number for you right now, but we're kind of looking for the overall blessing from you, different scenarios. Are you interested in charging a storm sewer fee? Are you interested in a 25% increase in the base fees, or would you rather us just do the per usage fees, the per gallon fee, or can we play with the usage or the service fee too? Kind of those kind of examples.
We gotta make the first step is the bottom line.
Right.
I mean, we haven't stepped nothing up. I like your idea with the surcharge. That's money that you could reallocate to these 3 areas just as a first step, and then figure out what we need to do on the rest. If, I know it's gonna require a meeting in order to do that, but that could just simply be accounting once you take the bill in, couldn't it? Take that $14 that everybody's paying right now, and go 3 for storm and 3 for water and 9 for.
Well, we have it on the fee schedule, Tony, is what we have it
No,
on.
I know,
so-
but I know that's gotta be changed, but I'm just saying, that's a start, and then we can look at the rest. But that would carry us through the first of the year, and you can actually bump it up more, I don't know.
It's a good idea, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I wouldn't know, the way our software runs, we have to tell it a per rate, so.
Right.
We can do that way if you want to take, like the $14. I wouldn't suggest eliminating it, because you also have an ordinance that says that you're charging $2 for a surcharge that's supposed to go into a special fund that goes from the main to the curb stop. So I would suggest keeping that.
Leave that one alone.
Leave that one alone. And then, so that leaves $12 of the rest of it, and I would consider, I don't think you want to eliminate the surcharge fund, you just don't want to take so much to it. So even cut that in half, down to $6. So then would you say you want, like 6, because it's a sewer that we're so strong.
Right, all right, no, I understand that. But you
Kinda-
gotta have a plan to have, if you're gonna have a public hearing on changing the fee schedule, you gotta have an idea of where you're gonna wanna go with it.
And that's what I'm telling you, is that Shane and
Yeah.
I will have those numbers, we just don't have them for you tonight.
Right. Go
But
for it.
saying that the 25%, you said you wanted the guidance on those 3 different areas?
Yep.
I don't know, I know 25% sounds significant as we're sitting here talking, but we've said many times we haven't done anything.
It's $5 on a $20
Yeah,
charge.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
So, so the direction for the 25% is fine.
Okay.
And what else did you have on there?
If we eliminate, like what Tony's saying, if we eliminate
Eliminate that 12 and
the
then just,
surcharge, what would you like what would you like us to put the surcharge at? Or propose, not,
well, you already got the $2.
leave the $2 on.
Leave that one there, so that leaves you 12 to deal with. And you need money for storm sewer. So take that 12 and put 4 in storm sewer and the other 8, whatever percentage it works out, into the sewer side. As a starting point. You know, that's keeping with the numbers that she gave before, and at least, and that's not gonna really raise the bill at that point.
Okay, so that's kind of like working it backwards, Tony,
Yeah.
which is fine. I understand what you're saying, and it's not that I don't disagree with it. I think it's going to be easier if we have a dollar figure that we aim for. So we don't have to work it backwards. We have to work it backwards. It's going to take me a lot more than 2 weeks.
No, but I'm saying that as a start, we're gonna have to look at it again at the first of the year, see what these revenues bring, see what we owe, and readjust them to next time we adjust that fee schedule.
I realize that, but we have a current rate right now that's $2.77, okay?
Right.
For me to figure out that $2.77 times what everybody pays that $2.77 at, add that up, get that for what everybody does, and then turn around and reverse it to be able to figure out that I need to get to $3 or $4.
No, I see
It's
where you're
easy.
going with it.
You kind of get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm not trying to argue with you, I'm just saying
I'm trying to
that would-
remember in
the
that fee schedule what you
calculation
had
would
is
be-
there, if it's a percentage or a number or
The
whatever.
calculation would
Because
just be
sewer's a
too much of a
percentage off
nightmare
your
to
water.
have to try and do
Yeah.
that. But I could easily go the other way and say like, like say for instance, if we increased it by, I don't know, just say 20 cents. To calculate the 20 cents times stuff and see how much revenue we get. That would be
Yeah.
so much easier than trying to go the other way around it.
Then your 20 cents, you're talking per unit, not per bill.
Correct.
Well, your surcharge was per bill.
Yep, the surcharge was per bill.
I got the base rate too.
The base rates, that's there,
That's the
I already asked about the
25%.
25%.
So,
Let's give the 20 cent per unit shot, see where that leads us. That's my suggestion.
that doesn't do anything as far as the storm sewer fee. You have to add that into,
Well, I was gonna do that, Tony, I was gonna do
Okay.
the storm sewer, and then if we do the 20 cents on, like, can I do it on both of them? I really think that you need to,
it's gotta be
on
higher. is
sewer,
what
it's
I'm
gotta go
thinking. Yeah.
this, but maybe we can do that.
Because you take, your sewer bill is a average of your water usage at the highest peak of the year.
Correct.
Right. So you're doing, if you raise the water bill, the water rate 20 cents a unit, you should raise the sewer rate 40 cents, whatever, just
That-
at least to make up that, in order to start for it to generate funds.
And that's what Jeff said, is that we need to be mindful of, and he can be here at the
Yeah.
next meeting, is that, okay, so now, when we go forward to phase 3, if we go forward to phase 3, however you wanna say it, the amounts that we propose, again, I'll say, is gonna be, do you want us to create that cushion? Because, do you want us to increase it enough so that it's just a little I mean, we'll give you a couple scenarios. But overall direction, I'm thinking that you're saying, yes, we need to do a little bit more than break even, correct?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
And we have to raise it,
Okay,
and sooner rather than later.
Okay.
So if
Well,
you're
that's why-
suggesting, say with the sewer, if it's 40 cents a unit, then do that.
yep, okay.
That sounds fair. So 20 for the water cents and 40 for the sewer cents per unit.
I don't think that's gonna touch it, Steve, but I'll start with that and we'll
Yeah.
go from there. I think it's gonna be more like, on the sewer side, probably gonna have to be more, closer to $1. But
All right.
Yeah.
we'll
Start
throw the
somewhere.
numbers out there and then we'll bring it back to you. Do you want to throw would you like to see that before calling for the public hearing then? It probably would be better.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see what we're looking at. We don't want
Yeah.
to present something and
Yeah.
then change it.
Yep,
No, that'll work.
okay.
So for the next meeting, because then we got even more time. I think we don't have 3 weeks as our next council meeting, is it?
I know. What about my vacation? No, I'm just
Do
kidding.
you have one? Okay, we got that, and then the special assessment hookup fees, and you'd indicated that you didn't have it to build.
I have not been able to touch that. I think helping, with a storm sewer fee, that would help, with things with special assessment hookup fees. I'm not sure, maybe we can call a meeting for, just to, I don't even know where to start with it. I don't know.
Well, you got, what was it, 500,000 is what's got to be assessed back to meet that 20% mark right now, correct? But it doesn't mean we're going to carry that particular bond without assessment required going forward. This is a temporary bond, not a permanent bond. That's why I asked you for the numbers of households that are affected. And work it backwards and see where you're at, and then decide, you may have to change your bonding abilities.
We'll probably give you a couple different numbers, because
I was gonna say, I've never even been given the numbers, that's why
No,
I
I know,
I think there's.
know what you want me to
I'm
do.
certain that there are a different number of houses fronting the street versus number of water.
don't even want to go into that. It's just
No,
give me affected property.
Number of properties.
Anyone that you sent an assessment notification to,
Yeah,
that's the number I want. And then we can work,
Regardless
come
of
up with
what
something.
Right.
utility or
Right.
street that they're, okay. good.
right.
Because they're all benefiting anyway. But it's just, you gotta have a place to start, that's a place to start.
Right.
Yeah.
So once we get that information, we should be able to figure out, or work together to figure out what the hookup fee.
Well, right, you just take the total divided by the number of properties and you got a starting.
Well, you got a place to start, it's just
Make sense?
in order to keep it right.
When do you think we could get that?
Tomorrow.
Should be soon, yeah. Okay, thank you.
I mean, truthfully, you probably have it already.
Probably already, yeah, if we counted them up, I'm sure we got the,
I could dig through my old stuff.
So are you, I just want to be clear that, okay, so you're looking for the total dollar amount of the anticipated project, and then you're looking for the number of properties that it affects,
I've got
correct?
the dollar amount for the current bond that's subject to special assessment is right around that $500,000 mark, a little higher than 500. But that bond isn't gonna be the one that we're stuck with, if I'm correct, because you gotta rebond. So then we decide that's to decide what kind of bond we wanna get based on the assessment policies or what, so.
Has Todd Hagan been here to suggest a type of bond or anything?
Just what I talked to him about earlier, about which ones have to be assessed and which ones didn't, and it affects the rates.
Right. Improvement bond is a better rate.
Right.
Basically. And that's what, you can assess without bonding at all, obviously.
Right.
But with the improvement bond,
You have to.
you have to assess 20% of the bond.
Doesn't mean you're gonna collect it, you have to assess it,
Right.
and then you get into that gray water. If you, well, all right, I'm gonna assess you this, but just pay me that.
Yeah.
And you do that too many times, and you're not gonna get any kind of bond. So, you gotta set yourself up in the right footing, and you gotta know what it is you're trying to buy, and how you wanna finance it, and how you wanna spread it out, so. But I've got some numbers I could work on it and see what we gotta do. Then we can tell them what we wanna buy.
So then Chris can get us the total number. Okay. Any other questions about that?
so we'll be talking more about that at our next, we'll
Correct.
keep that on the agenda for,
Keep going.
we'll just keep that on the agenda for next time, Madonna,
Okay,
the
yep.
special assessment.
Not a problem.
of fees.
You betcha.
All right, then, let me see, 13F, airport recommendation lowering gas prices. We had that at the meeting that we had for the airport commission, lower gas prices, and I think, what was the suggestion?
This
Or
is-
something?
Yeah, it was $4.65. And I had asked Shane if he were to go buy gas today, what he would have to charge. Did you get that done? Or did you have a chance to? Okay, that's fine.
I know it's lower, I wanna say it's in the upper threes, I wanna say last time I looked at like $3.90 is what we would pay. And then we got a percentage for the credit card
Mm-hmm.
out there. And then in the past, which is why some of our higher, they always wanted a tax percent charge on for the taxiway improvement. That dates way back prior to me, but we wanna keep going with that or whatever. But right now, for the load that we have out there, 465 is like break even, we're not making anything on it.
Well, and plus, we gotta get rid of it.
We are lowering it because we had the request from a airport commission member.
But if it's our break-even point, then why are we lowering?
I guess it's
You gotta-
a
If you
fiscal
don't
impact.
sell it and it sits there, it's not gonna be.
But it is selling, Tony. It's
No,
just-
I
yeah.
understand
Well,
that.
and it should be.
And Marshall's
because
is like
when they start
$4.99,
spraying,
so
Don't they buy gas from us when they start spraying?
no, they
No.
use a different type of fuel.
Yep,
They do?
We use Jet A.
yep,
What do they get charged when they come here then?
not enough.
That needs to change.
Yeah. But that 50 cents, is that 50 cents a service or 50 cent a gallon for that taxiway improvement?
50 cents a gallon.
And we've been,
How many gallons did we have to buy at the time?
2,000. That's the most we can get at.
And who buys this gas? I know, but I mean, who, like, how many people actually purchase this gas?
Anybody that comes to the airport, Pam, anybody that comes in with an airplane can purchase it.
That uses that type of fuel.
I don't know.
Quite a few, I mean,
Yep.
you get random passerbys, you got locals, some people don't wanna buy here, it's cheaper somewhere else.
and they'll shop around and do their fuel planning based on the price of fuel. So getting them here, if they go down and buy something at the grocery store or whatever,
How are they gonna get there, walk?
oh, we got a courtesy car out there.
There it is?
Yep.
It'll fly there. Just landing.
I don't understand. Why, if they can shop, if all these other airports can have cheaper gas, then why can't we have cheaper gas?
Because they can buy more
But
of
when
it
you
at
buy
a
it,
time.
when, how much they go through it and the quantities they buy it in.
If you have a 10,000 gallon tank, you can get a
So-
whole.
yeah.
transport.
So our
Why
tank
would they
size,
do that when they're saying they're connected for it to sit there anyway?
Yep, and that's the problem with any little airport, which is
Yep.
why most of the little airports are more.
A little,
because
yeah.
They get dipped on
But when we filled last time, it was a pretty high
we
price.
got a higher, it was on the downhill stretch,
Yep.
but then we bought it because it went up, a couple cents the next day.
Yep.
We're like, well, it's gonna go the other way now, so we'll buy it now, and then it just dropped, like, 2 weeks later.
So what-
It's a gamble.
So what the request is to get rid of the fuel that's in there so we can buy it cheaper, so we can offer it cheaper
And still make money.
and still make money on it.
Well, let's give it away so we can buy it cheaper and make money on, I don't know.
We're not giving it
So
away.
what does Slayton charge for their gas?
Slayton's was like really high, 545 or 575. Marshall's was
Marshall's is
$4.99, I think.
Marshall's is $4.99.
I think Marshall's was
More.
$4.99.
That's for, full service.
Oh.
Self-serve, I
Okay.
think it's like, I wanna say it's like 50 or 60 cents cheaper.
That's how much?
440.
$4.40 for Marshall.
But I think you
Marshall's
might,
got
if
a
you
whole
draw in
ton
two,
of more
if you
fuel.
draw in two people by dropping the price to $4.70 a gallon, you're gonna go through it faster anyway, and it's gonna be competitive more so. I mean, a dead break even probably isn't a good
When we
idea.
went down to 505, which is where we're at now,
Yeah,
we were cheaper than Marshall by like 15 cents. But now,
because
they
they,
bought.
yep,
it's the
and
other thing.
that's the way it works. That's
So,
why there's not many fuel stations left anymore.
yeah.
You don't make a lot on it.
All right, well, do we have any other discussion about our, make a motion about?
If 464 is your break even,
65.
465, I would make a motion, to lower the gas price to 470.
Yeah, is there a second for that?
I'd second.
470.
Motion made and seconded to lower the gas prices of $4.70 at the airport. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's get rid of the gas then.
It will take a couple days for that to move back.
Okay, any new business? None? The mayor and council communications, anybody have anything? I want to be involved in the EDA on their committee, because everything that's going on, so I'd like to take Bill's spot for that, advising on that committee. We have council representation on the EDA,
Oh,
so I would like to take Bill's spot, and Bill's okay with that.
You can
because
do
of
that.
Things that are going on, I'd like to be involved in that. Anything else? All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Mace, is it second?
Okay.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.